श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् अपारकरुणासिन्धुं ज्ञानदं शान्तरूपिणं श्रीचन्द्रशेखरगुरुं प्रणमामि मुदान्वहम्।
श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। With the abundant blessings of our Acharya Swamiji, we have crossed more than 5 weeks of Vande GurorMandalam, the lecture series on Adi Shankara Bhagavad Stotras. We are now in Saundarya Lahari, sloka number 59.
परिवाशरणम् स्फुरद्गण्डा भोगप्रतिफलितताटङ्कयुगळं चतुश्चक्रं मन्ये तव मुखमिदं मन्मथरथं यमारुह्य द्रुह्यत्यवनिरथमर्केन्दुचरणं महावीरो मारः प्रमथपतये सज्जितवते।
This shloka is about the face of Devi. We have had a few shlokas describing the glory of Devi's eyes. Now we are coming to the face. And the fruit for this shloka is Sarvajana Vashyam. That is attracting all people. Suradganda bhoga pratifalita taatankayugalam chatuschakram manye tava mukhamidam manmatharatham. Tava mukham idam. This face of yours is, according to me, I consider manye as manmatharatham, a chariot of Manmatha. And this chariot has got 4 wheels, chatuschakram. What are the 4 wheels? Puradganda bhoga pratifalita taatankayugalam. She is wearing tatankas in her 2 ears. Tatankas are round ear ornaments. Now, so the 2 are like 2 chakras, 2 wheels. Now 2 more wheels have to be accounted for. Now, because he said chatuschakram. The other 2 wheels are the reflections of these 2 tatankas on the cheeks. Ganda is cheek area. Ganda abhoga, the expansive cheek area, the large cheek area. Surat, shining. Prathipalita taatankayugalam, the 2 tatankas are reflected in the 2 cheeks. So you have got 4 now. 4 tatankas looking like 4 wheels. That is, the cheek is so like a mirror, beautiful like a mirror, shining like a mirror, that it reflects the tatankas, giving the appearance of 2 more tatankas. So we have 4 now on this Manmatha Ratha, the chariot of Manmatha. Why he is calling it as Manmatha Ratha, he is explaining. Yama aruhyadruhyati avaniratham arkendu charanam mahaviro maraha pramasapataye sajjitavate. Yam aruhya, after ascending this chariot, mahaviro maraha, Manmatha, the great warrior, pramasapataye, he fights. Druhyati, druhyati means he fights. He fights Sakshat Parameshwara. Pramathapati is Parameshwara. Pramathas are a group of Rudra Ganas. So he is the head of Pramatha Ganas. So Pramathapataye, Parameshwara, Sajjitavate, he is ready for the battle. He has readied himself. Parameshwara has readied himself for the battle. And Manmatha has ascended this chariot for fighting him. Drushyati means goes and fights with him. And what is the chariot of Parameshwara? Avaniratham Arkayandu Charanam. Avani is Bhumi. Avaniratham is earth as the chariot. And it has got only two wheels, Arka Indu, that is Surya and Chandra. This kind of wheel Shiva used while going for Tripura Samhara. We saw that earlier. A detailed shloka we saw earlier on this. So, that chariot which was used by Parameshwara during Tripura Samhara is now cited by Adi Shankara as if Parameshwara is using there is no such story, but he is using his poetic fancy. So the same chariot is being used by Parameshwara, and this great warrior Manmatha is fighting him on a chariot which has four wheels, that is the two tatankas and the two reflected tatankas on the cheeks, which are like mirror of Devi. Now, this chariot of Shiva has got his chariot itself is the earth, whereas the chariot there or is the face of Devi. The face of Devi is the chariot there. Here the earth is the chariot. Now earth is not a stable, it's always revolving, moving here and there, it has got its own ups and downs. So that kind of chariot is comparatively weak in comparison with the face chariot of Manmatha. One second, the chariot of Manmatha has got four wheels and four strong good wheels, whereas Surya and Chandra are not known as wheels, they are orbs of light. As you know, they are only gases. So, these two chariots, as opposed to four he is having, and those two are also not reliable. So, he is having an unreliable chariot, unreliable two wheels, whereas Manmatha has got four good wheels and a good chariot. Now, this is how the imagery is made by the poet. This is how the commentaries have been given on this shloka. So when Manmatha goes for war, he is bound to win, and he wins. If you see Kamakshi Vilasam, Manmatha, who was burnt to ashes by Shiva, was entertaining a negative feeling about Shiva, and he was looking for an opportunity to fight Shiva and win over him, because he is able to win over the entire universe. No one is an exception. So only Shiva was an exception. So he performed severe penance and pleased the Devi. He knew that the only way to win over Parameshwara is to win over Devi. So he pleased Devi, and Devi, this is after he was brought back to life by the compassion of Devi. By the compassion of Devi, he was brought back to life from the state of ashes to which he was reduced earlier by Shiva's anger. So now when he did the tapas, Devi was pleased, and Devi gave him an opportunity to ensure that he gains victory over Parameshwara. And this happened, this is all described in Kamakshi Vilasam. So Manmatha's forces and Parameshwara's forces, Rudra Ganas, they engaged in actual war, not in imaginary war. And Manmatha's forces registered a victory over Rudra Ganas. So Parameshwara came running to Kamakshi Devi, and Kamakshi Devi smiled and said, "This is how it is. Manmatha has won. Now you go back to Kailasa. Gauri is waiting for you." Like that, she made a joke. So this scenery is, which is described in Kamakshi Vilasam, is the basis of this shloka, where Manmatha registers a victory over Shiva. And the same thing is mentioned in Lalita Sahasranamam also, where it says, Padmaraga Shiladarsha Paribhavi Kapola Bhuhu. Paribhavi means bringing disgrace. Kapola, the cheek of Devi, brings disgrace to Padmaraga Shila Adarsha. That means a mirror, Adarsha is mirror. A mirror made of Padmaraga stones. So valuable mirror. Even that mirror was defeated. That means this is more shiny, more reflective than that mirror, that is Devi's cheek. Same thing is mentioned here. Suraganda bhoga pratifalita tatanka yugalam Chatushchakram manye tava mukhamidam manmatharatham. यमारुह्यदृह्यत्यवनिरसमर्क्येन्दुचरणम् महावीरो मारः प्रमथपतये सज्जितवते.
सरस्वत्याः सूक्तिरमृतलहरी कौशलहरीः पिबन्त्याः शर्वाणि श्रवणचुलुकाभ्यामविरलम् चमत्कारश्लाघाचलितशिरसः कुण्डलगणो झणत्कारैस्तारैः प्रतिवचनमाचष्ट इव ते.
This sloka is about the sweetness, of the words of Devi, the sweetness of the word power of Devi. Now the fruit for this is all your speech will be fruitful. That is one. Second, even dumb can speak because of Devi. Saraswatya Sokti Ramritalahari Kaushalahari Pibantya Sharvani Shravana Chulukabhyam Aviralam. Sharvani is an address. O consort of Sharva. Sharva is Samhara Murti, the destructive Shiva. Now, Saraswatyaha Suktihi. Saraswati is sitting in front of Devi and she is speaking. Suktihi, she is speaking so well. How well? Amrita Lahari, Kaushala Harihi. First one is Amrita Lahari. Second one is Kaushala Harihi. Amrita Lahari, it is a wave, it is a flood of nectar. What she speaks, what Saraswati speaks. Kaushala Harihi, it is robbing Amrita of its sweetness. That means this is sweeter than Amrita. Robbing Amrita of its sweetness, that is the Kaushala, that is the efficiency of Saraswati's voice. Pibantyaha Shravana Chulukabhyam Aviralam. Devi is sitting there and drinking. Pibantya means drinking. Drinking with her ears. Shravana, the ears. Shravana Chulukabhyam. Chuluka is a cup. The ears are like a cup, like cups. When you cup your hand and do Achamanam, this is called Chuluka. In fact, Agastya emptied all the oceans by just performing this Achamana with his Chuluka, with a cupped hand. So that is what the same reference is here. That is, the ears act like cups. Shravana Chuluka Bhyam Aviralam, continuously, without break. She has been drinking this beautiful voice of Saraswati, stories of Shiva, obviously. What is she talking about? Suktihi, well spoken. What was well spoken? Well spoken were the stories of Shiva, obviously. Chamatkara Shraga Kalita Hirasaha Kundalaganaha. Chamatkara, because of the attractive nature of Saraswati's accounts of Shiva's exploits. Very attractive. Chamatkara means very attractive. Very wonderful. Very attractive, very wonderful. So because of that, Shraga Chalita Shirasaha, Devi wanted to appreciate, Devi wanted to eulogize, praise Saraswati. So as a mark of appreciation, she nodded her head. Chalita Shirasaha, Shirakkampa it is called, nodding one's head. Then what happened? Kundalaganaha, there are small, tiny bells hanging from the Satanka. They are known as Kundalaganaha. Small tiny bell or hangings from the Satanka. They are Kundalaganas, groups of Kundalas. So they make lot of sounds when she shakes her head. Jhanatkarai tareihi. Tareihi means loud nature of the sound. Jhanatkarai means the beauty of the sound. Jhanat, jhanat, like that. Rhythmic sound. This sound made by these kundalas looks like Prativachanam Achashta Iva. Te Iva means it looks like. Prativachanam achashta. They were speaking in reply. Prativachanam is reply. In reply. In reply to what? In reply to Saraswati's suktis, which were appreciated by shaking of the head by Devi. And in reply to that, these Kundal Ganas were making sweet sound. So Saraswatya Suktihi. So Saraswati accounts of Shiva's exploits are so sweet that they rob Amrita of its sweetness, sweeter than Amrita. So second Hari he is robbing, first is Lahari, which is the wave. So Devi is drinking those those stories, the sweetness of those stories, with her two ears, which are like cups continuously, and in appreciation of that wonder, of that beauty of Saraswati Suktis, she nodded her head, and in that process, the Kundala Ganas, the groups of tiny bells in the Tatankas, started making beautiful rhythmic sound loudly, and it appeared as if they were registering a reply to Saraswati's Suktis. सरस्वत्या सूक्तिरमृतलहरी कौशलहरीः पिबन्त्याः शर्वाणि श्रवणचुलकाभ्यामविरलम् चमत्कारश्लाघा चलितशिरसकुण्डलगणो झणत्कारैस्तारैः प्रतिवचनमाचष्टयवते. Now here the fruit was, one fruit was, even dumb can speak. Now we all know about Mukha Kavi, Mukha Panchashati, how he was a dumb boy. Kamakshi Devi appeared in person and then gave her the prasada of Tambula, and immediately he started speaking and he composed immediately 500 slokas, Mukha Panchashati, in praise of Kamakshi Devi, and he became Shankaracharya of Kanchi Kamagoti Pitham at that time, 20th Shankaracharya. Next.
असौ नासावंशस्तु हिनगिरिवंशध्वजपटी त्वदीयो नेदीयः फलतु फलमस्माकमुचितम् वहत्यन्तर्मुक्ताः शिशिरकरनिःश्वासगलितम् समृद्ध्यायत्तासां बहिरपि च मुक्तामणिधरः.
Beauty of Devi's nose is the subject here. And the fruits are Manojayam, victory over mind, the greatest achievement. And Lakshmi Kataksham. Asau Nasa Vamshaha Tuhinagiri Vamshadhvajapati. Tuhinagiri Vamshadhvajapati is an address to Devi. Tuhinagiri is Himalayas, Himavan. So Himavan's lineage, Vamsha, for that lineage, Devi is like a Dhvajapati, like a banner. The cloth in the banner, like a banner cloth. That means she is the significant crown in that lineage, naturally. Asau Nasa Vamshaha. This nose, which is like a Vamsha. Vamsha means bamboo. Vamsha has got two meanings. Beautifully he has used it. Tukhinagiri Vamsha, which is lineage. Here Nasa Vamsha. Here Vamsha means bamboo. When Krishna is praised, we say Vamshi Vibhushita Karat. So his hands are decorated with Vamshi. Vamshi is flute made of bamboo. So that bamboo has come here. Because nose is generally compared with bamboo by poets. Now, that is why he is using the word Nasa Vamshaha. Todiyaha, yours. Nejiyaha Phalatu Phalam Asmakam Uchitam. Asmakam for us. Uchitam Phalam Phalatu. Let it grant appropriate fruits. See, he didn't say desired fruits. Vanchita Phalam, he didn't say. He said Uchitam Phalam. Many times you find Vanchita Phalam, desired fruits. Desired fruits may not be in your interest. It may be against your interest. The fruit should be useful to you. it should be bring hita, not ahita. Hita means something which is agreeable to you, something which is useful to you. So that kind of uchitam phalam, let this nose, which is like a bamboo, let it give us. That is the prayer. Nediyaha means nearby. That means the fruit should be quickly. Nediyaha means fruit should be nearby. Fruit should be quickly available. Vahati antarmuktaha shishirakaraniśvāsagalitam samridhyayattāsām bahirapicha mukta manidharaha. The best of bamboos are supposed to contain pearls inside. Like pearls are available from the temples of elephant, apart from the normal source which is the sea. Pearls are also available from the elephant temples. Similarly, they are also available inside good bamboos. So he says, this bamboo nose of Devi, Vahati, it carries Antaha inside, Muktaha, pearls. It carries pearls inside. And then what happens? There comes the beauty. So far, it is a normal description of a poet. Now he says, Shishirakaraniśvāsagalitam samridhyayattāsām bahirapita mukta manidharaha. When she is expelling her breath to the left nostril, Nishvasa means expulsion of breath. Ushvasa means inhaling and exhaling. When she is exhaling her breath, Nishvasa Galitam, when she is doing that, Shishirakara is moon. Why he is saying moon? Because the left nostril is associated with the left nadi, which is Ida. Ida is associated with moon. Pingala, which is the right nadi, associated with right nostril, is associated with Surya. And there is a central nadi, which is Sushumna, which we saw in detail as Kulapatha, from Mooladhara Chakra going up to Sahasrara Chakra. So these three nadis are the basic essential nadis in Yoga Shastra. So he is now talking about the left Ida nadi, which is associated with moon. Shishirakara is moon. So through that nostril, which is associated with Ida nadi of the moon, when she is exhaling, the exhaling of Paramatma is all Vedas. Yasya Vishwasitam Vedaha. This Veda itself says Paramatma's exhalation of breath is Vedas. So when she is exhaling, that is Vedas only. So during the process of exhalation, one pearl, the Samridhya, there are a lot of pearls inside. So one of those pearls came out. Tasam bahirapicha, it came out. And Mukta Manidharaha, immediately that pearl adorned her nose as a nose stud. She is wearing a pearl nose stud on her left nose as well as on the right nose. Now we are talking about the left one. And the left one, it became a pearl nose stud. This pearl came from inside the mouth through the bamboo, which it is, it has pearls inside. This is poet's imagery, imagination at its best. असौ नासा वंशः तुहिनगिरि वंशध्वजपटे त्वदीयो नेदीय फलतु फलमस्माकमुचितम् वहत्यन्तर्मुक्ताः शिशिरकरनिःश्वासगलितम् समृद्ध्या यत्तासां बहिरपि च मुक्तामणिधरः.
प्रकृत्या रक्तायास्तव सुदति दन्तच्छदरुचेः प्रवक्ष्ये सादृश्यं जनयतु फलं विद्रुमलता न बिम्बं तद्बिम्बप्रतिफलनरागादरुणितं तुलामध्यारोढुं कथमिव विलज्जेत कलया.
This sloka is about the beauty of Devi's lips, and the benefit for this is good sleep. In the first line, there is an address which is Sudati, one who has got beautiful teeth. The Sudati is beautiful teeth. Danta is tooth. Now immediately he follows in Danta Chadaruchehe, so he is constructed like that. That's why he is addressing her as Devi with beautiful teeth. प्रकृत्या आरक्तायाः तव दन्तच्छद रुचेः. Dantachhada is the cover for the teeth, that is the lips. It's a beautiful Sanskrit word for describing the lips, the cover for the teeth. So Dantachhada ruchehe, the shine, the radiance of the lips, which are Prakrityaha, Araktyaha, Prakritya, Araktayaha. By nature, they are of red color. They are not red color because of lipstick or any external application. They are by nature red color. Then, Pravakshe Sadrishyam Janayatu Phalam Vidrumalata Pravakshe Sadrishyam, for those lips which are by nature of red color, I want to tell an equivalent. Sadrishyam means an equivalent, an upama, something similar. Pravakshe, I want to tell. Then normally poets compare Vidruma, that is coral, or bimba fruit. These are the standard comparison for red colored beautiful lips. Now here we are talking about the first is Vidruma, which is coral. Now if I compare with coral, the problem is Vidruma Lata is a term constantly used by poets. If you see any great poet, he will say Vidruma Lata instead of Vidruma. Lata means creeper, and Vidruma, coral, is not a fruit obtained from any creeper. It is not a vegetable of vegetable origin at all. It is obtained from an insect, this coral. So, to say that coral is a fruit, phalam Vidruma Lata. To say coral is a fruit obtained from the Vidruma creeper is false, is wrong. So, let the creeper of Vidruma, let it bear fruit. At that time, I will compare, he says. First of all, there is no Vidrumalata. And if at all there is a Vidrumalata, let it bear fruit, let it bear Vidruma fruit, coral fruit. And then I will compare that fruit, because then only it will be a nice comparison, appropriate comparison. Coral, which is red color, then I will compare. But Vidrumalata is an imagination, and fruit is also an imagination. So that doesn't work. The second one. न बिंबम तद्बिंब प्रतिफलन रागात अरुणितम. न bimbam. Second one is bimba is the bimba fruit. Now that is also not appropriate. Na bimbam. Why? He is giving a reason. Tadbimba pratifalana rogat arunitam. Tadbimba is the lips. Tadbimba is the lips. First bimba is the bimba fruit. Second bimba is the lips. The lips are reflected with their natural red color in the bimba fruit. When Devi picked up a bimba fruit in her hand, bimba fruit was not of that kind of good red color. When she picked up, the red color of her lips got reflected. Pratifalana raga, reflected red color, arunitam, it became red. Because of the reflected red color, it became red. But Bimba fruit thought, now I am equally red, so I am comparable to Devi's lips. So Tulam Adhyarodham, it wanted to ascend the balance. That means what? It wanted to compare itself with Devi's lips. Kathameva vilajyeta kalaya. Then when she was about to ascend the balance, she was overcome with shyness, lajja. Why? Because she knew, this Bimba fruit knew that she is no match for Devi's lips. Kalaya, Kathameva, even remotely, Kalaya means even by a fraction, I am not equivalent to Bimba, Devi's lips, because my red color itself is a borrowed red color from Devi's lips. And definitely it is, the borrowed red color cannot be as good as the original. So even remotely, even as a part of the original red color, I am no equal. So Kathameva somehow villajeta, it got shyness. So this is also mentioned in Lalita Sahasranamam. Navavidramabimba Shri Nyakkari Radanachada. Here what is called Dantachada, there it is called Radanachada. Same meaning. Radana means also teeth. Radanachada, cover for the teeth, that is the lips. Lips are Nyakkari, they are ridiculing, they are putting down Navavidrama, the newly polished coral, as well as Bimba Shri, the glory of the Bimba fruit. Both are ridiculed by the red colored beautiful lips. Prakritya araktayaha tava sudati dantachhadaruchehe pravakshe sadrishyam janayatu phalam vidrumalata na bimbam tadbimba pratifalana ragadarunitam tula madhyarodham kathamiva vilajyeta kalaya.
स्मितज्योत्स्नाजालं तव वदनचन्द्रस्य पिबतां चकोराणामासीदतिरसतया चञ्चुजडिमा अतस्ते सीतां शोरमृतलहरीमाम्लरुचयः पिबन्ति स्वच्छन्दं निशि निशिभृशं काञ्जिकधिया.
This is about the beauty of Devi's smile, beauty of the gentle smile. On the gentle smile, 100 slokas have been written by Mokha Kavi in Mokha Panchasati, Mandat Smita Shatakam. So that is the subject here. And the fruit is Sarvajana Sam enchant. They will be under your spell. It is even more than Vashyam. Vashyam is you have attracted them. But here they are under your spell, like like a magician, who operates his magical articles, like that. Jyotsnajalam savavadana chandrasya pibatam chakoranam asit atirasataya chansu jarima. The subject is Chakora Pakshi. Chakora Pakshi, as you know, is a mystical bird which we have seen before, whose only food is the Amrita which comes from the moon during the night time. So it looks towards the sky. The rays of the moon, which are nectarine, fall into its mouth, and that is the food. It's very satisfied with that food. So now what is happening? One day these chakoras had an opportunity to have darshan of Devi's face. Devi's face is compared to Chandra. Now that is the story. Jyotsnajalam tava vadana chandrasya pibatam chakoranam tava vadana chandrasya, of your face moon, Mita Jyotsnajalam, face is the moon, and the gentle smile is the moon shine. Jyotsna is the moon shine. Mita is the gentle smile. The entire moon, entire face is shining, no doubt, but there is an intense shine coming from the gentle smile. So that is the meaning. So, with a Jyotsna, Jalam, it is like a network, Jalam. It is something which goes far and wide. This Jyotsna, like the moonlight, which goes far and wide, this gentle smile Jyotsna also goes far and wide. So, naturally, a lot of chakoras, because it goes far and wide, lot of chakoras came and started drinking this nectarine flow from the gentle smile, which is coming from the Vadana Chandra, the face Chandra. Then what happened? Chakoranam asit, that became the food for the chakoras. Ati rasitaya chanchu jadima. Then what happened? Because it consumed too much of this very sweet nectar, you must listen to this very carefully, very beautifully worded. Because the chakoras consumed too much of this nectar, which is very sweet, ati rasataya, very sweet, chanchu jadima asit, their chanchus, their beaks became developed inertia. See, when you take too much of sweet, you cannot take any more of sweet. A stage will come, your tongue will refuse to accept any more sweet. The tongue will become inert as if. So same thing, for us it is the tongue, for the chakora bird it is the beak. So the beak became inert. Now they felt, no, now there's no point in drinking this anymore. So we're not enjoying the sweetness. Sweetness is gone now. Because our beaks are unable to enjoy the sweet. They have become inert. Because the beaks have got the nerves for feeling the sweetness, isn't it? Now the feeling is gone. What to do? Ataste shitam shoho amritalaharim amlaruchayaha. Now the medicine for change of taste. When you take too much of payasam, you want to take some more effort, but you cannot take. Then what do? You take a hot vegetable or vegetable, a hot pickle or something. If you taste that, then your taste immediately changes. Then you go back to your payasam. Then you enjoy the payasam even more now. Same way, this chakora birds knew this because they have become wise by drinking the nectar coming from the Devi's face. They became wise. They knew now this beak requires a change of taste. And change of taste should be sour. Amla ruchayaha, not hot. We may be taking hot, but actually Ayurveda, I think, recommends amla ruchi. That is why he is bringing that concept here. Sour taste, sour gruel, sour kanji. Kanji kadhiya, he says. शीतांशोः अमृतलहरीम् आम्लरुचयः पिबन्ति स्वच्छन्दं निशि निशिभृशं काञ्चिकधिया. Now what do? They go back to, they have now left Devi's presence. They go back to the moon. Now they are drinking the moon nectar, and the moon nectar is, in their estimation, is like a sour gruel now. This is the beauty of the poet. Moon nectar is the normal food for chakoras, very sweet. Everybody knows it is very sweet. Today, after having partaken of Devi's face sweetness, this the nectar coming from moon's rays is like a sour gruel, kanji kadhiya, with the intention of drinking sour kanji, sour gruel, amla ruchayaha, with sour taste, kanji kadhiya, with the idea of sour taste kanji. So, Sita Amsoho Amritalahari Pibanti, they go on drinking the nectar coming from the rays of the moon. How do they drink? Swachandam, Nishi Nishi, Brisham, every night, Nishi Nishi, Brisham in plenty. Swachandam on their own. Nobody is forcing them to drink. On their own, they keep on drinking every night. This sour gruel, because so much of sweet they have taken already. Now they need a very strong antidote, and that strong antidote is coming from moon's nectarine rays, and one night is not good enough. They do this day, night after night. So chakoras develop inertia, inertness in the beaks by drinking too much of the nectar which was oozing out of Devi's lips from the moon face of Devi, and they decided now the antidote for this is sour kanji, sour gruel. So they found that the nectar which is coming from moon's rays in the nights is actually like a sour gruel as an antidote to what they have already taken from Devi's face. So they go on drinking this night after night in plenty on their own. This is a beautiful imagery built by Adi Shankara. Mandasmita Prabha Pura Majjat Kamesha Manasa. Lalita Sahasranam, isn't it? There also same idea, but there is no chakora there. Mandasmita Prabha Pura. The face, the gentle smile is so splendid by in that splendor, Kamesha's mind is immersed. Majjati means immersion. It is immersed in that Prabha, in the glory of Mandasmita. Smita Jyotsna Jalam Tavavadana Chandrasya Pibatam चकोराणाम् आसीत् अतिरसतया चञ्चुजडिमा अतस्ते शीतांशोरमृतलहरीमाम्लरुचयः पिबन्ति स्वच्छन्दम् निशि निशि भृशम् काञ्जिकधिया
अविश्रान्तं पत्युर्गुणगणकथाम्रेडन जपा जपा पुष्पच्छाया तव जननि जिह्वा जयति सा यदग्रासीनाया स्फटिकदृशदच्छच्छविमयी सरस्वत्या मूर्तिः परिणमति माणिक्यवपुषा.
The description is the beauty of the tongue of Devi, and the fruit is Saraswati Kataksham. Now, again, a very rare, very beautiful imagery is built into this sloka. Now, Devi herself is singing the praise of Parameshwara, speaking a lot about Parameshwara's exploits. That is how the story starts. Avishrantam patyur gunagana reda janaya japa japa pushpachaya tava janani jihva jayati sa. O Janani, O Mother, sa tava jihva jayati. That tongue of yours is splendid. If it's pure, yes, means it's splendid. Japa pushpachaya. It is splendid like the japa flower, red colored japa flower. It has the radiance of the japa flower, red colored japa flower. It is already red color, now it has become more red. That is the point. Why? Avishrantam patyuho gunagana katham redana japa. Because continuously, avishrantam, without taking even a minute of rest, continuously, you have been speaking the stories, katha, patyuho gunagana. The stories reflecting the multitude of qualities of your pati, that is Shiva. He has multitude of virtues. Now all those virtues you have been speaking about through the various stories connected with Shiva. Now, are you speaking them only once? No. Amredana japa. Amredana means repeating again and again. 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. Same story. She is repeating continuously. This is like a japa. Amredana japa. In japa also we chant the same mantra again and again. Isn't it? 100 times, 200 times, 300 times. Like that. She has been repeatedly mouthing the stories of Shiva, which are reflective of Shiva's great virtues. Then in this process, the tongue became even more red color. Now what happened? Yadagrasinayaha spatika drishati achat chavimayi saraswatya murtihi. That is agrasinayaha. On the tip of this tongue, Saraswatya Murtihi. Saraswati is sitting. Saraswati is sitting on the tip of Brahma's tongue, Shastras say. Now, poet imagery brings Saraswati to the Devi's tongue. She is seated on the tip of Devi's tongue. Now, the tongue has become so red. And what is the color of Saraswati? Saraswati is Spatika Drishada Chavimayi, like a Spatika stone, transparent white. You have seen crystals, isn't it? They are not white really, they are transparent. So they will reflect any color which they are surrounded with. They are colorless by definition, but they look like near to white. So Spatika stone, very clear, without any blemish, very clear Spatika stone, Chavimayi, that is the radiance. She is having the Chavimayi, that means her form itself. Saraswatya Murtihi Chavimayi. The form of Saraswati, there is no flesh and blood there, there is no other element, it is only the radiance of this Spatika stone which is clear radiance. Then what happens to this Murti? Parinamati, Murti changes into Manikya Vapusha, into red colored form. Vapu means actually body form. Red colored ruby stone form it takes. Something which was crystal, pure crystal, has become like a ruby stone because the pure crystal started reflecting the red colored tongue, and in the process of reflecting, it was appearing very much like a ruby stone. That is the imagery of Adi Shankara. Beautiful imagery. So, continuously, without a moment break, Devi has been recounting the stories of Parameshwara's exploits, reflecting of his multitude of virtues, and because of the continuous process, the tongue became more red, and Saraswati's form, which is seated at the tip of the tongue, and the form is normally of crystalline form, clear crystal with radiance, great radiance of the crystal, that crystalline form changed into the form of a ruby because the crystal started reflecting the red color from the tongue. Avishrantam patyur gunagana katham redana japa. Redana means repeating. Japa pushpachaya tava janani jihva jayati sa. यदग्रासीनायाः स्फटिकदृशत् अच्छच्छविमयी सरस्वत्या मूर्तिः माणिक्यवपुषा.
रणे जित्वा दैत्यानपहृतशिरस्त्रैः कवचिभिः निवृत्तैश्चण्डां शत्रिपुरहरनिर्माल्य विमुखैः विशाखेन्द्रोपेन्द्रैः शशिविशदकर्पूरशकला विलीयन्ते मातस्तव वदनताम्बूलकबलाः.
Always Adi Shankara addresses Devi as mother. Last time he said Janani, this time he says Mataha. So he wants us to develop that motherly affection, motherly devotion towards Devi. That is why he is bringing that concept again and again. Now the subject of this shloka is the glory of Devi's Tambula. And the fruits are success in all your endeavors and Vagvilasa. You will be a good speaker. Now, the first 2.5 lines talk about Vishakha, Indra, and Upendra, three of them. Vishakha is Subramanya Swami. He was born in Vishakha star, so he is known as Vishakha. Vishakha, Indra, Upendra. Next is Indra, Devendra. We know him. Upendra is Mahavishnu. He is known as Upendra because he became the younger brother of Indra in the Vamana incarnation, Vamana avatara. Because Mahabali was an asura who was troubling all the worlds. He occupied Swargaloka, etc. So Aditi, the wife of Kashyapa, who is the mother of all the Devas, that is why Devas are known as Adityas, because they are all the children of Aditi. Diti is the other wife of Kashyapa, whose sons were Daityas, they were Asuras. Daityas are Asuras. Now, one of those Daityas was Mahabali. Now, Aditi became worked up because Indra went and complained to her, this is what my brothers are doing to me. So, Aditi went and prayed to Mahavishnu. She observed a special brata called Payovrata. All this is described in Srimad Bhagavatam in detail, great detail. Mahavishnu appeared in person. He said, what do you want? Then Aditi said, I want you to be born as my son. Her intense tapas was so good that Mahavishnu was obliged to say yes. He said yes. So he was born as the son of Aditi. He took the Vamana shape, Vamana avatar, Vamana form. And then we know the story how he became Trivikrama. Now, because he was born to the same mother, Aditi, at a later stage, after all the Devas were born, he is the younger brother of Indra. So he is known as Upendra. This is one of those stories. It's a very common appellation for Vishnu. Now these three, Vishakha, Indra and Upendra, are coming for Devi's darshan. How do they come? That is beautifully described in the first two lines. Rane jitva daityan, after gaining victory over Daityas in a battle, these people are returning. Now, since it is headed by Vishakha, Indra and Upendra are following Vishakha, this must be the Shura Samhara, the battle with Shura Padma, because that is where Subramanya fought the battle under his leadership, and Indra and Upendra were helping him. So, these three people are coming after gaining victory over Daityas. Then, when they come, Apahrita Shirastraihi Kavachibhihi. Shirastra is Shiraha Trayate iti Shirastraha, that which protects the head, like a helmet, like a turban. So, wartime turban they were wearing for the battlefield, that they removed. Apahrita means removed. They removed the turbans as a mark of respect. When you go and have darshan of either Periyava or some saint or some great elder, then you cannot go with a turban or a cap on your head. That is prohibited in Shastra. So they removed it because they were going to Parashakti. So they removed their headgear, and then Kavacha they could not remove. Kavacha also should be removed, strictly speaking. But Kavacha takes time to remove. They were in a hurry to go and have darshan of Devi. So they continued to wear the Kavacha, the armor on the body. Nivrittaihi means they were returning. They were returning from the battlefield. Then what happened? Chandam Shatripurahara Nirmalya Vimukhaihi. On the way, before coming to Devi, they could have gone and had darshan of Shiva, isn't it? They should have all gone to Shiva first and they could have come to Devi later. Tripurahara is Shiva. The trouble was, that was the meal time for Shiva. And he had just finished his meal. After he finishes his meal, whatever is balance, food, that is the right of Chandikeshwara. Chandikeshwara has the first right over that Nirmalya, over the food left over after Shiva has taken his food. This is the rule. Nobody else can touch that food. This they knew. But if they go and have Darshana Shiva at that point of time, they are all very hungry returning from the battlefield, and Shiva has just finished his food. So naturally he will offer the balanced food to these people, and these people will be forced to eat it, and that will be a contravention of Shastra. It will create the anger of Chandikeshwara. So they wanted to avoid all this confusion. That is one reason. Another reason is, when you go to Shiva, you cannot go with all this wearing kavacha and without taking a bath, without following the rules of achara. You can't do that. With Devi also you can't do that, but they are taking privilege with Devi. The privilege of being a child with a mother. That kind of motherly privilege they are taking, which they cannot take with the father, with Shiva. So they know Shiva is strict in all these things. So that achara rule they could not maintain. That is the second reason. So because of that, they could not go to Shiva. Chandam Shatripurahara Nirmalya Vimukhaihi. Vimukha means indifferent. They were indifferent to the leftover food, Nirmalya, after Tripurahara Shiva had eaten the food, because that was the share of Chanda Amsha, that was the share of Chandikeshwara. So when these three people came for darshan, Shashi Vishada Karpura Shakala Viliyante Mataha Tavavadana Tambula Kapalaha. When they came, Devi was chewing her tambula, betel nut, in her mouth. On seeing them, she gave that prasada in their mouth directly. From her mouth it went to their mouth and it disappeared. Viliyante Tambula Kabalaha. The balls of tambula, Vadana Tambula Kabalaha, the balls of tambula from the mouth of Devi disappeared in their mouth. That means they immediately consumed it. Because there is a rare prasada. Such a rare prasada, how can you get? So they immediately consumed it. Viliyante means they disappear. They disappear into their system. And the Tambula Kabalaha are described further. Shashi Vishada Karpura Shakalaha. Normally they are red color, isn't it? Tambula has to be red color only, betel nut and the betel leaf. But here it has white spots. What are those white spots? Karpura Shakalaha. Camphor. Camphor is added, as you know, as for fragrance. So for fragrance, they have added, because it's after Devi's Tambula, so the female associates, servants, they have added beautifully Karpura Shakalaha, the small pieces of Karpura. So the Karpura Shakala, those small pieces are appearing as white particles here and there in the Tambula. That is the beauty. Shashi Vishada, those white particles are like a pure moonlight. Shashi Vishada. Shashi is moon, Vishada is pure. So, because Shashi has got a kalanka, but this has no kalanka. These are beautiful white particles like pure moon. That kind of tambula balls disappeared into their system. So, when the three, Vishakha, Indra, and Upendra, came for Devi's darshan after having gained victory over Asuras, they removed their headgear. They were still wearing the kavacha because they were in a hurry, the armor, and they were indifferent to the food left over after Shiva had finished his meal, because that was the share of Chandikeshwara. They came to Devi and they were provided with balls of tambula from Devi's mouth, which disappeared into their system. They ate it so with great relish, that means. And those tambula, tabalas, balls had beautiful white particles of camphor looking like purity of the moon. प्रणेजित्वा दैत्यान् अपहृतशिरस्त्रैः कवचिभिः निवृत्तैश्चण्डांश त्रिपुरहरनिर्माल्यविमुखैः विशाखेन्द्रोपेन्द्रैः शशिविशदकर्पूरशकलाः विलीयन्ते मातः तव वदन ताम्बूलकबलाः.
विपञ्च्या गायन्ती विविधमपदानं पशुपतेः त्वयारब्धे वक्तुं चलितशिरसा साधुवचने तदीयैर्माधुर्यैरपलपिततन्त्रीकलरवां निजां वीणां वाणी निचुलयति चोलेन निभृतम्.
Now, the sweetness of Devi's voice, that is the subject here, and the fruits are very sweet words we will develop, and we will also develop Sangeeta Jnana, knowledge of music. Vipancha Gayanti Vividham Apadanam Pashupatehe. Vani is the subject which is coming in the last line, that is Saraswati. Saraswati is singing on her Veena. Vipancha Gayanti, Vipanchi is Veena, is singing on her Veena. What she is singing? Vividham Pashupatehe Apadanam. Various leelas of Pashupati. Apadanam means great deed, noble deed, something which cannot be done by anybody else, like Tripura Samhara. Great deed, noble deed. That this is called Apadana. Now that kind of noble deed of Pashupati, she was singing on her Veena. Then what happened? Tvayarabdhe vaktum chalita shirasa sadhu vachane. You nodded your head, O Devi. You nodded your head in appreciation. Chalita shirasa, you nodded your head. After nodding your head, you felt that is not good enough appreciation. You have to say something. You have to say a few words like they say in music kacheri, sabash, bash, like that. She wanted to say something. Sadhu vachane. Sadhu vachana means words of appreciation. Tvaya vaktum arabdhe. You just started speaking those words. Just started saying bash. Very small expression. Short expression. Just you started beginning to speak those words. Then what happened? Tadiyair madhuryaihi apalapita tantri kalaravam. Tadiyahi madhuryaihi. The sweetnesses of those words. Everything plural. Actually, the word was perhaps only one, maybe just one word. But the sweetnesses are many. Look at that. It has so many sweet aspects that one word, the way Devi uttered that word, it conveyed so much of sweetness of different shades. So that is plural. Madhurjaihi apalapita tantri kalaravam. Because of that, the tantri is Veena. The Veena's wires, which are making sounds, beautiful sounds, apalapita, those sounds were silenced. Apalapita means silenced. Their sweetness was gone. They were completely defeated by the shades of sweetness coming from Devi's voice. Just one word she had spoken. They started to speak. By that, the sweetness of the wires coming out from the Veena, the strings coming out from the Veena, was completely defeated, was completely silenced. So, what is the use of that Veena now? Nijam Veenam Vani Nichulayati Cholena Nibhritam. Nijam Veenam, her own Veena. Why he says her own Veena? Because all musicians you might have seen, they want to play on their instruments only, not somebody else's. If you give your Veena, your violin, they will not like it. They are used to playing, so they can produce beautiful sounds with their instruments. So Nijam Veena. In fact, her Veena is special. That is called Kachapi. Saraswati's Veena is called Kachapi, very special. So, actually, Saraswati is known for beautiful Veena music. So, Nijam, Veena, Vani, Nichulayati, she covers it. Cholena, with a cover. Every Veena has got a cover, no? With that cover. Nibhritam, so that nobody would see that Veena out of others' sight. Now, he is emphasizing that. She is covering it with a cover, is good enough. Out of others' sight, Nibhritam, completely. Why he is saying that? Because there is a beautiful explanation for this. Because if you leave it uncovered, the sounds which have been produced by the strings of the Veena will continue for a few more minutes. Because the Veena has already been strung, the music has already been played. So those musical tones will keep coming for a few seconds or a few minutes. So that there's no point in having that when Devi has started speaking. In front of that music, this music should be stopped. In entirety, completely it should be stopped. So in order to ensure that it is completely stopped, she put that cover. This is the beauty. So this is only to say that Saraswati's Veena is no match to Devi's sweet voice. That statement has been made in the such a beautiful form. Nija Tallapa Madhurya Vinirbharsita Kakshapi. Same thing in Lalita Sahasranama. By the sweetness of Devi's voice, Nija Tallapa Madhurya. Vinirbharsita Kakshapi. Kakshapi was brought to contempt. Bharsana is contempt. Vinirbharsita Kakshapi. Kakshapi, the Veena of Saraswati, was treated with contempt. So, when Saraswati was singing on her Veena the various Leelas, noble deeds of Pashupati, and Devi started nodding her head and then started speaking a word of appreciation, the sweet shades coming out of her voice were so sweet that the Saraswati thought it fit to cover her Veena completely with a cover because the sound which was coming from the Veena was completely silenced, was completely defeated by the sweetness of the voice of Devi. Pipancha gayanti vividham apadanam pashupate स्वयारब्धे वक्तुं चलितशिरसा साधुवचने तदीयैर्माधुर्यैः अपलपिततन्त्री कलरवां निजां वीणां वाणी निचुलयति चोलेन निभृतं. Chola is the cover. So we stop for the day. Any questions?
No questions, Mama.
No questions. We stop this session today. Tomorrow there will be no session of this lecture in the morning as well as evening because I am taking off because I have some very urgent work. Because I am taking off because of some urgent work, there will be no lecture tomorrow morning as well as evening. That is 3rd of December, 3rd of January, Wednesday. And we will meet on 4th of January, Thursday, morning and evening in the Tamil and English sessions. So our session in the evening will be at 6:30 as usual on Thursday, 4th of January. And I hope all of you will join me on that day at 6:30 IST as usual and enjoy the bliss of Saundarya Lahari. Namah Parvati Pataye Hara Hara Mahadeva Shri Jagadambikayai Jaya Jaya